Hey, what's up guys? Here's an early guide for Masters Lilith solo. I'm going to go over mechanics and her attacks. I'm not going to go over team building because it is week 1 and the meta is always changing anyways. So I'm only going to focus on the mechanics. Anyways, Master Lilith I believe has an HP based attack pattern just like Agito, so that means you might see different moves depending on how much damage you deal. Regardless, you'll see some of the same moves here and there when you do this fight. I'm just going to tell you guys how to handle each one so that you are prepared when it does come up. This fight is actually really easy. The attacks are relatively easy to dodge and there's really no special move in this fight, to be honest. A lot of her attacks are like different variations of already existing attacks from other bosses. With that being said, if you are familiar with all the attacks from High Dragons and all the Agito, then nothing should really surprise you in this fight in terms of her attacks, alright? The only special mechanics are her passives and the fact that she requires you to build 2 separate teams, 1 light and 1 water. In the boss detail page, it gives a lot of important information. You need to bring a healer, she curses, and she can also inflict stun. Not really sure what stuns because I haven't experienced it yet, but apparently she does stun. Break her parts to decrease her affliction resistance. Cripping corrosion is the damage over time debuff. It does more damage as time increases and you will need to heal it in order to get rid of it, sort of like how you deal with Volk's Plague. Curse of Nihility is the debuff that dispels buffs. It's the quote-unquote Karina and double buff killer. This debuff affects so many characters and I'll give you guys 2 links that'll tell you more about this curse. The official Dragalia news page has a general list of what buffs are affected, and Blaze from main court / the wiki created a list for each skill and ability, so big props to him. Since most buffs are out of the question in this fight, you basically want to take advantage of debuffs and afflictions as much as you can. That's all for the details. Now let's get into the attacks. Accursed Shackles is the move that dispels all your buffs. As you can see, I started with 6% strength and then it gets cleared. Sugar-Coated Sadism applies Flames of Torment onto herself, which is a passive that lowers damage from off-element characters, makes her more resistant to certain afflictions and all that other jazz. Not really important. Corrosive Fog afflicts corrosion onto her team, which is the debuff that deals damage over time and needs to get healed off. When she activates the fog, it will interrupt your action, so don't cast any skills that you don't want to get interrupted. There are skills out there that you can purposely get cancelled and still have the hits go through, such as Mitsuhide skill 1, so it'll depend on your lead character. Candy Shower is exactly like the electric web thingy from High Jupiter. You'll get targeted by 3 consecutive purple circles. They will home in on your character until the purple gets like 70 to 80% filled. When the move lands, then it'll leave some purple stuff on the ground that'll damage you when you touch it. With that said, you want to bait Candy Shower away from the boss. Don't go crazy and roll a bunch of times. All it takes is 1 roll in order to get out of the circle, so just stand there and wait for it to fill and then roll. You can make the 2nd and 3rd purple circle land on the same spot if you wait long enough, just like how it was in High Jupiter. I definitely recommend that you do this in co-op so your team has more space to work with. Crossing Candy is where there will be several purple and red balls that fly across the map. The starting position for them is randomized, but I think it might be based on where your character is positioned. I'm not really sure. Regardless, you can avoid all the patterns the same way. All you have to do is run towards the side where the red balls came from. Wherever the red ball spawned at, you want to go to that side. That will be the safe side. So for example, if the red ball spawned at the bottom and went up, then you want to run to the bottom. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so this move doesn't have a name, but what happens is that the whole screen gets filled with purple tiles. If you notice, some of the tiles overlap, primarily the ones in the middle. That'll become more apparent later when you start breaking parts of her wings and some of the purple tiles become red tiles, but in the beginning it's all going to be purple, so you cannot dodge any of it. There are no safe spots. So what you have to do is you just have to run to the parts of the map where the tiles do not overlap. All of the singular tiles are on the corners of the map. Top left is usually the one I run to because it's in clear view. You can go top right, also bottom right. I'm assuming bottom left is also safe, but I've never used that spot yet, so it's not 100% confirmed, okay? Sweet Circle is probably the most challenging move that Lilith has to offer, but it's not even that bad. So there'll be all these purple lines that pop up and there's gonna be like this black spark thing on the right and also on the left. Those are the 2 spots where her wing might spawn on, so it's gonna be RNG, okay? She might spawn on the left and she might spawn on the right. It's RNG. Her wing will always move clockwise. While it's moving around, it's gonna unleash a big purple circle around itself, so anywhere near the wing is not safe. While that is happening, the purple lines will activate and alter between the purple spots and the empty spots. Everyone's going to do this part differently, so there's no correct way to do this part, but I'm going to share what I do. So if the wings spawn on the left, I start on the empty space on the center right and then move to the space left of it. As soon as the purples activate, run across to the other side and make sure to avoid part of the wing's purple circle. Then just walk to the left to dodge the purple line. If you position well enough, you can squeeze your character in between the black rings to attack Lilith as soon as the last purple activate to get a head start on DPS. The purples only activate 4 times in total, so after the second pop on one side, you can run to the other side and then wait for the last 2 purples to pop. Now if the wings start on the right side, then you basically do the same thing but starting from the top side. Just dodge 2 purples up top, then run to the bottom afterwards. It's the same thing but reversed. This double ring move is straightforward. It starts with red inside and purple ring outside, then afterwards it'll be purple inside and red ring outside. Once you break her wings, then you'll see less purple and more reds. Candy Bomb is the same old red circle where you have to stack in order to spread the damage. Group up on whoever has Candy Bomb. When Lilith is in Overdrive, you can start Overdrive countering some of her red attacks. You will know which ones you can counter because they'll have an icon above the attack. When you iframe one of these attacks with a skill and successfully get the Overdrive counter, then your attack will deal more Overdrive damage than normal, so make sure to do this whenever you can. Usually a little bit right after Lilith goes into Overdrive, she'll start off with a red attack that you can counter, so you can save a skill for that moment. Candy Prison, I'm not sure how the targeting works for it. It might be the farthest, but I'm not 100% on that. Regardless, whoever gets the prison, you gotta break them out. It's kind of like the Cayenne move where he grabs the farthest player and traps them. It's the same concept here. You break out your teammate or else the prison explodes and it'll deal a lot of damage in an AoE. It won't always be a one-shot kill, but it'll deal a lot of damage. This 3 swipe move you will see a lot is basically the same as the 3 swipe move from the twins. 2 swipes near the front and then the third is in a full circle. When she's in Overdrive, all 3 of them can be Overdrive countered. Death's Sweet Embrace is where she walks to the top left and prepares to purple dash down, while her wings will also dash from right to left. After that, she'll do another dash, but there's 2 different dashes that she can do. She will either dash back to the starting position with her wing dashing to the center, or they will both dash to the middle. When she dashes back to the top, you want to stand right above her, basically the spot where your AI will run towards because that'll be the only safe spot. When Lilith and her wings dash to the middle, you want to stand in between Lilith and her wings, okay? And I believe that's all the moves that she has to offer. When she reaches half HP, then she'll change her element to fire. All her moves are basically the same, but more fiery and less shadowy, so nothing to really go over. Do make sure to target down her wings so that makes the fight easier, as breaking the wings do make some of her purples become reds. Anyways, if you guys have any questions about anything else that I didn't go over, then go ahead and comment down below. As always guys, thank you guys so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.